afternoon and welcome to 3 Talk with me, Noeleen. She's defied the odds in becoming one of the most sought-after fresh faces on the modeling circuit. She's a model, presenter, singer, advertising specialist and actress. Known by many as Vanilla Black, she's proved her undoubted talent by recently making it onto Oprah's top 15 power list. I'm talking about none other than Refilwe Modiselle. Today, we'll be putting the spotlight on her life, love, career, and more. Welcome, 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 Refilwe. You've been on the show a number of times, and this is the first time that you're actually sitting there, and we're going to be talking about you.
But I'm so honored.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
honored
sweet.
because I think most of the guests that come through are people of prestige, you know, people with proper things to say. So I'm very
Do you
honored.
not believe you've got prestige, that you've got proper things to say?
Look, I always say that I'm a girl with a cause at the end of the day. I never see myself in that huge light where I get a colossal head.
Yeah.
It's not about that. So for me, it's more like a humbling honor to be in a space like that. And you need to be able to be that person all the time.
No, we're honored. We're honored. Every single guest that sits here is special. Everybody, you know, and you today, we're honoring you, and that's why you are here today. You know, and I'm sure you've been, in fact, not I'm sure, I know, you've been asked this question so many times. Every single interview that I've read on your life, the first question is, who is Refilwe? Do you get a little irritated by that question at times? Because I know that even when I'm being interviewed and someone says, who are you? I'm thinking, but you know, that's a bit of a difficult question.
It is a difficult question in terms of answering because people might sometimes think you're being boastful about who you are, but the reality is that there are things that you do. I don't get irritated because I can't expect everybody to know who I am. It's not everybody that watches the TV or is aware of what happens in the world. People are so busy with their own lives at the end of the day to actually know who you are. So for me, it's not a big deal. I'll explain to you and I'll say, okay, Ms. Refilwe, I'm actually known as SA's first albino model, possibly Africa's first albino model. Apart from that, motivational speaker, aspiring actress, I'm a singer. I'm just a woman of many facets, and that is who Refilwe is.
Are those not roles that you play?
It's roles that I do play, but at the end of the day, each of those things are a purpose that you serve. They're roles, but they are purpose. Do you understand? Each of those things build to exactly who you are as a I always say that though your job does not define who you are, but for me, it's a bit different because each and everything that I do has a bigger purpose behind it. A lot of people thought that being a model, that I'd go out of my way to be a model. It wasn't. It was a calling. Majority of the things that I've done have been because of a passion, because of a love, of a tenacity, and a rebellion as well, to be that person. So,
when you say rebellion, is it because you've had to fight for a lot of things? And I think that most successful people are people who are tenacious and ambitious and who have to fight for a lot of things that they want.
Look, a lot of people, when they look at me, they think girl on the silver platter probably had it very easy, and that's not the case at all. It took my own country 14 years to acknowledge that there was somebody of my nature who is in the fashion modeling industry to be able to grace a runway or be able to go into a magazine. 14 years that SA only sees it, and this was only last year when I got ambassadorship, my brand ambassadorship. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention it, but there was a brand ambassadorship I got last year, and word only came out 14 years down the line. And I mean, it's a bit disturbing, you know, but it is the way that it is. And I think in my case...
Because I mean, let's call it what it is, because you're a woman living with albinism.
Yes, I am. I'm not your typical black girl. I'm not your typical girl who walks into a room and you say, oh, she's black, because I'm defined by the color of your skin, which is a brown skin, which I'm completely okay with. You know, I'm okay with it, you know, because it's things like that in the world that learn to, that teach people that there are other things beyond ourselves which are not necessarily principal to what the rest of the world has always been said. So it's going to be a constant fight that's always there. I'm in an industry which is very superficial because the reality is that it's superficial. You have to be a specific mold which has always been traditionally accepted. And now here's this chiquita, here's this lady who's just like, no. Let's redefine what you have defined as beauty. Let's redefine of what a possible model could be.
Yeah.
Let's redefine those conventions that have always been there. Let's redefine when you put a brief and say, this is a black girl. Let her not be a brown skin. Let her be a vanilla bone like myself, and actually teach people beyond principles and things that were always set and taught to us as a society.
Describe yourself as vanilla bone.
I'm a vanilla bone. I'm a proud vanilla bone.
All right. What is a vanilla bone?
A vanilla bone is a pale skin. It's a person living with
I've heard
albinism.
of the other one. What is it called?
There's a brownie.
Yellow bone. I've heard of yellow
bone is
bone.
obviously the light skin, but there's never been a definition for a person like myself, so
Yes.
I created vanilla bone. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you also call yourself vanilla black.
Yes, vanilla black. Wow. That was initially just a name. It was, sometimes I think as a child you do things creatively and you don't understand the meaning, which is a bit of a genius. Because when I created, it's a bit of a genius because you do things not knowing it.
Do you think of yourself as a genius?
I wouldn't say I'm a genius, but I'm a very smart, very intelligent person. That I will stand by because I work hard and I'm very smart.
Yeah.
That's one thing for sure. But when I came up with I'll explain. Vanilla black, I'm a vanilla skin, but a black person. The original vanilla seed is actually black, but when cultivated, it's white. So when we think of vanilla, it's white, but that's not the case. It's actually a black seed that's been cultivated into something that is white. And hence that describes, I am white on the outside, but I'm a black person. Yeah.
You called yourself, or you described yourself as intelligent and very smart,
Yes.
which you are. You wouldn't have got to where you are, acting, executive, advertising,
Yes,
executive, all of those things that we've done, which we'll talk about throughout the show, without being smart and intelligent, and you're a go-getter as well.
Yes.
A lot of us probably don't succeed because we never want to vocalize the fact that you're intelligent and you're smart, you're a go-getter, you're ambitious. Is it because you are just more confident than a lot of people, not even women necessarily?
You know what? I think it all starts with, and I always say this to people, sometimes the honing that your parents, or what your parents instill in you, at the end of the day, contributes to how you become as a person. And I think what's happened is that obviously from home, I knew that I was an intelligent child because of the marks that would come through, because of the drive. I come from an academic home, so I would be driven to constantly be reminded that, you must bring the A's home, bring the A's home. So that in turn, I think even the confidence from the parents, even the support from parents, you can instill that in your child, that Nana, you are smart, you are intelligent, you are loved, you are kind, finish and glad. That will build the character out of a person.
And your mother your mother and your father unfortunately passed when you were still very, very young.
Yes.
They were always, they never treated you differently.
No, they didn't. They didn't put me in a box. That's the one thing that I'm always grateful for. My mother didn't treat me like an egg, which, I'm going to keep my child away from such things and so on. She allowed me to be who I was. And in that process as well, I developed my own character because I think you're so exposed to everything around in the world that you also need to develop.
Oh, that's you and your mom.
Yes, that's me and my mom. Graduation, that's me and my mom during graduation. But you develop a sense of character for yourself, and I think it's when it's also God-given to a certain degree. When you're a certain character within God, you hone that, you bring that up. It is supported by everything around you. And that's what builds you as a person. Yeah.
And so that grounding at home, you did not, when you were out of the home and in school with other kids, you always were able to stand your ground because you knew that back home, I'm not treated differently, so I can't expect to be treated differently here.
True. It's one of those things that says, if my mother doesn't me, what gives you the right to go and smack me? Do you understand? It's that thing of, if my mother loves me, I don't need to seek approval from somebody else, from a love that is shown from within. Don't need
So
that.
you never had to fight? You never had to, when you were teased and...
Well, look, I did have to fight. I mean, I had a bit of a mouth on me, you know, in terms of the fact that I'd be like, oh, you calling me white? You know, the funny thing is as to this day where, you know, guys will make remarks or whatever, you know, and I'll say, they'll be like, yeah, I'm Lungu. And I'll be like, yeah, Mlungu is your mother. You know what I mean? It's like, but not in a bad way. It's like, don't say that to me. Don't say that to me. If you have the audacity to come and make an outburst like that, what makes you think I'm going to accept it or acknowledge it? But in the same context, I found that with growing up, there's a way of handling things, you know? And for me, most of the time with negativity, what I've done is try very positive. If you have something negative to say, I will smile at you and I will educate you. It's just like kids when they say, oh, but but I'm like, no, I am black, okay? I am black, and then I will speak vernacular, and they're like, oh, okay, you know?
Yeah.
Try and make people understand. Sometimes don't have an outlash to life, because that's when people don't take in what you say. Yeah.
So you've got to be very patient.
You've got to be very patient, because we live in an ignorant society where people don't know everything. You can't expect people to know everything. We're a constant society that learns different things. And if you cannot teach through patience, if you cannot teach somebody something they do not understand, then it becomes a problem, because it becomes a conflict between two people.
Yeah.
So rather avoid it, you know, try and teach me. I don't know, I'm a peace lover, so I try and keep the peace. I know it's naive, but I try and keep that at all times.
I love that attitude. If you'd like to speak to Refilwe, give us a call on 086 2233 303 or tweet me Noeleen3 Talk. After the break, we find out more about Refilwe, the model. Welcome back to 3 Talk. Despite all the fame and buzz, Refilwe Modiselle has managed to stay humble and true to herself. The Soweto-born model says since starting her modeling career at the age of 13, she has not forgotten where she comes from and where she's going in this industry. A few people on Twitter will actually attest to that. Unam says, please ask Vanilla Black what keeps her humble, grounded from people, because she's recognized around the world.
I think understanding that everything is not in your power, in terms of the context of what you're given is God-given. What you have today can be taken away tomorrow. And I mean, I learned that through life's lessons, through pain, you know, because a lot of people think that you don't go through hardship. I think that's where the lessons come from. You learn that everything that you have and you're given can be taken away from you tomorrow. So you need to be able to nurture that and be grateful. Every little thing that you get, you should be grateful for.
What are some of the life lessons that you've learned?
Wow, people don't even know that. When I had a corporate life, I went through 3 years in a retrenchment, actually. 3 years of not being able to work. And that's when I learned how to hustle, because I was a production manager. And when the retrenchment happened, you know, it was at a point in my life where there was so much change. I wasn't used to being the girl who was not independent of herself. So yes, it was a point in my life where I had to now learn to be me alone, and 3 years of not being able to be that girl that was on top of her game. Because from 19, I had started working when I was 19. So I got everything quite early. I achieved a lot of things very early, and I was used to being there. So when you get to a point where you fall flat and it's like boom, crash, boom, bang, then it kind of brings you back to home. Other than that, there were things like I've been in a hijack where I was beaten. I nearly didn't finish school because, you know, of fees and things like that. Things like that attribute and teach you that you need to get to a place where you know yourself, you know the people around you, and you know your God. Yeah.
And that's so important. How did you survive that 3 years?
Look, I learned to hustle. I learned to hustle. Like, I think that was the biggest 3 years in my life where I now discovered where my strength is. And it's the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. Because I think what happens is, as people, we get into a comfort zone where we rely on your 9 to 5. It's all you have. It's a salary that you get every month. Now it's a point where there's no money coming in. And yes, I was at home. I mean, I still am at home because I'm in a situation where I'm comfortable at home. It's mom and 2 younger sisters. I mean, why would I want to move? It's still cool. But
And it's cheaper to live at home.
Look, yes, it is cheaper to live at home, but I'm in a system
Sorry,
where,
mommy.
as I said, we have such an awesome relationship with my family that there is no pressure to do that.
Yeah.
And I always say in life, don't hurry for the luxuries. Build a foundation for yourself. Make sure that when you do things, you do them properly. Don't be in a rush of, I want to be independent in my own space, whatever. It doesn't work when you can't pay rent at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Or when you can't food inside your fridge. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. So for me, it's building those aspirations and taking care of my family. I've always said that I want to be able to take care of my family before I'm comfortable and say, you know what, I'm now really completely living my life in the luxuries that I want.
Interesting. Minister of Sport, Refilwe Modiselle, was here, was it last week? And he said exactly the same thing.
Yes.
He said, before I got married, before I wanted because they lived in a shack.
Yes.
I wanted my mother, wanted my family to be comfortable.
Yes.
And then after that, I can take myself. And that's where the humbleness comes in, doesn't it?
Unfortunately, our generation doesn't have that aspect of understanding where your blessings come from, because the reality is that your parents actually are right next to God. That's how I think of it, you know. And half the time we disregard the importance of them in our lives and the role that they play in terms of the fact that they brought you into this planet. The most you can do or show your love back is to say, you know what, I understand and acknowledge everything that you've been through me where I am.
Yeah.
And
I'm just giving thanks to you.
Thank you. And I don't think there's anybody that wants to see siblings not going to school, suffering, or anything like that. There's nobody.
While you are popping bottles.
No, what are you popping bottles for?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. You're living luxury, but your mom is staying in a shack, and you're not. They don't have an education to fall back on. How do you do that? You know, how do you even expect the support to come from them?
No, and they won't support you, obviously.
No.
Obviously not.
No, they
And
won't.
we'll come back to, you know, all the good things in your life, your family, but we need to talk about your modeling career. But before we do that, I have to ask you to stand up. Just hold your mic pack and just stand up. I want everybody to see, you know, you literally are as big as my cue card. You are the tiniest person. Just come close, come close. Okay, I hope the camera can see this. These are my cue cards, okay? And this is how small you are. Can you see that? You literally, look at, this is my hand. This is my hand. My hand.
I love you.
No, honestly, I had to do this. I've never been in such proximity to someone who is so tiny. Look at this. You can sit down. Thanks, my
I'm
baby.
a Barbie girl.
I mean, I never comment on people's bodies because I think it's quite rude. But I had to comment on your body.
I totally understand. What they call a conceptual size.
You're a conceptual size.
A conceptual size. Because
So they conceptualize their garments on your size. We're talking about the designers.
The designers, what happens is that, I think what happens is, they don't have me in mind, but sometimes designers will put things on a mannequin, obviously, and say, oh, I like this piece or whatever. But then if I walk in, or there's a show, half the time, actually, they have to alter to make it fit on my body because I'm so small. And it's such a natural thing. I don't try to be small.
You see, this is where I am. No. This is where I am going to say, Refilwe, stop right there. You see, the slim people, and as fatties can relate to the slim people, always say that. Oh, I don't exercise. I eat like a horse, and I eat everything.
Yes, though. I think it's upbringing because my mom's always made it a point to help us have a balanced diet. So it's naturals. I think when you start from when you're very small and everything is balanced, it's the way that you eat all the time.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, when you grow up, there's like fast food and stuff like that. But be aware. Be aware. But I don't go out of my way. I'll be very honest. I don't go out of my way and go, you know, let me not eat this. Let me be picky. I'm just a happy, free-going, loving spirit. That
Last, did you have a double burger with cheese and egg?
Before I came here?
Oh, yeah, Carver, never. And there's no way you could have had a double burger with chips and egg and bread and the whole...
No.
And
I'll tell you what I had. I had a burger. I had a burger
Yeah.
with chips and my cool drink.
Really?
I did, and I enjoyed it thoroughly because I was like, oh, I'm so famished.
So for you, which is, I'm just being facetious, really.
Yeah.
For you, it's, you know, size is perfect for you because that's what ramp modeling needs.
Look, there are ups and downs to it because some people will be like, oh, but you're so tiny, but you're so tiny, which can make me feel bad sometimes, which is the adverse, which is so funny because it can make me feel bad sometimes that, okay, am I supposed to be slightly bigger, you know, or something like that? But I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I can wear anything that I like.
Yeah, lucky
you know, I can get away with certain things completely. I can get away with kitty's clothes if I want.
Yes, I know, because you are this big. Her waist is that big.
No, but it's a problem still because there's certain clothing as well which I always have to get altered. Being this small is not always an advantage.
Yeah.
Certain things I do have to, even if they are small, I have to go and get altered to fit my body.
Yes.
Properly. Yeah.
So let's talk about the modeling career. You started when you were 13 years old.
As a baby.
And you got into it because this is something you really wanted to do, or
No,
it was circumstances?
Not even. What happened is I was in high school and I was approached by one of the girls in school, and she said, okay, her sister works at a boutique and they'd like to use me for, well, not use me, but they were looking specifically for somebody albino to do a shoot. And I thought, okay, that's never been done. I had to go and ask for permission because I was 13 years old, fresh in high school, and it would have been something that I would have done.
Was this the...
That's the first shoot I ever did.
But that wasn't when you were 13?
I was 13.
Were you 13 then?
That's the thing. I didn't look like it. I was 13.
No, I would have said this is because you don't look 13.
I was
But I guess
13.
makeup and hair and all of that.
I was 13 when I did that shoot.
Yeah.
So I didn't really look like it. That's another thing. I didn't look my age, like 13. So they thought, okay. So this publication asked me to do it as a representative for the millennium, which was the year 2000 and the new age, a new beginning.
Yes.
A representation of everything new that was to come from, you know, from then
What
on.
a fabulous concept.
But I didn't think of it then. Like, I didn't understand of it then. I had no idea. I was just a little girl who wanted to do something that she'd never done before. And my mom she was like, But then, you know, she agreed to it. With hesitance, she agreed to it. And I just had fun.
Yeah.
It was just about having fun. That's all it was to me. I didn't understand what it was, what it meant. And then from there, it was something that kind of flourished step by step.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
my mum had stopped me.
we'll continue talking about it when we come back from the... If you'd like to speak to Refilwe Vanilla Black Modiselle, give us a call on 086 223 or tweet me Noeleen3Talk. When we return, we'll also be talking more about Refilwe's acting career and newly acquired movie role. Welcome back to 3 Talk. Refilwe Modiselle says the rules that defined what a normal girl should look like have been broken. Exposure as a model born with albinism has helped humanize people who have often been looked down on and marginalized. Someone here has a question, Poppy Luan. It says, has she ever been denied opportunities in the entertainment industry because of her skin color?
Do I answer that?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now they're putting me on blast. I'll be very honest, it has happened. It has happened. But I mean, that's one of the motivating factors that actually drives me.
What had happened?
Well, for one, I remember when I was cast for a specific show. And then I was neck on neck with somebody to get the role. And they said to me, sorry, well, they didn't tell me. I obviously got the inside scoop from somebody else that there was a huge debate that had happened, you know, in the office in terms of the fact that it was a time where they don't think I was ready to be exposed to Africa. So I got the other end of things. And I mean, it happens most of the time because it's not the norm of putting somebody like myself on a public platform or a sphere for reason of how is the rest of the public still going to react to somebody like that. I think it's easier to deal with something where everybody knows and is familiar with than to experiment with something that's never really been there.
Yeah.
So it's a constant fight, and it's something that I understand because it's traditions that have always been there. There's nobody who's defined them, and I'm just the person who's just saying, wait, stop the lorry, let's just change things a little bit. But it has happened.
But
I won't deny that.
You can't force people to say, I'm going to change things, so you are going to hire me,
No,
whether
you
you
can't.
like
You
it or
can't
not.
force people. But the thing is, it's not even for me more than anything. I take it as my skin being the full force of my drive. I have potential. I have talent, but don't overlook me because of my skin. That's one thing I will definitely put on the table, is that I don't feel like I am owed anything because of my skin. I'm just like, don't let that be an overshadow to the fact that I do have potential. I've got talent as a person.
Yeah.
The things I have so much to offer the world, Noeleen. So, but people are scared of sometimes diving into the convention. They see face value first.
Yeah.
Before looking at it. I always say they look at quantity first before they look at quality.
Does that make you angry?
It does. It does make me angry. I mean, who wouldn't be angry? Who wouldn't be angry at the fact that, you know, people overlook talent and skill before they do anything else? It's about, we're trying to drive, we're trying to specific reach, we're trying to maximize on something specific, instead of saying, are we giving back quality to the rest of society? Are we teaching people certain things which are going to grow us as people? We've forgotten that as a culture altogether. It's about driving certain things within media that are just going to boom, boom, boom because it's good and it's nice at that point in time. It's not about longevity or substance anymore.
Yeah. Let's go to Jabulani in Soweto. Hi, Jabulani.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Jabulani.
Yes, may I speak to Fifi, Vanilla Black?
Yes,
Hello.
please go ahead.
Okay, hi Fifi, it's me, JT from Sweden.
Unjani bhuti wami?
Hello?
Yeah, hello bhuti.
Yeah, ukhuluma noJabu, JT from model ku-Twitter, ngiyakufollowa.
Yes, Jabu, thank you so much.
Into with like it's a right date, and like I love you very much.
Thank you, bless. Thank you so much.
Nama question. Okay, nama question I pray for one.
Okay, buza bhuti.
How do you feel being the first of something like the first recognized albino model? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And where did you get your drive?
Okay.
All right, Jabulani, listen on your television. Thanks so much for calling. Okay.
I've always said that first albino model for me is, it's just an acknowledgement to say that I've broken a bound that's there. It's not something to now get a big head about. Yeah, I was first.
Yeah.
It's just something that I think that is just there, and it's set a standard to say that, you know, with tenacity and the right attitude, you can be able to do whatever that is inside your heart. But more than anything, it makes me recognize the purpose that I'm possibly set out to do, and that is to teach people. You know, more than anything, a lot of people think that my modeling career is the be-it-all of my life, and that's not it. It's actually just a catalyst for everything else that I'd like to build towards my future. And how I see myself in 5 years, I've learned through the time that I fell in my life that you never try and look at yourself in 5 years. Rather try and live each and every day in terms of building to obviously a brighter future, but never put a time frame on yourself. I was a girl that used to say, at 25, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be this and that. And when I fell flat and those things did not happen, that brought me down. But that taught me again that your plan is not God's plan. And hence, I don't do the 5-year period. You never know what's in your life. So you got to be able to roll with the punches, take your life as it comes, and just brace it.
But is it not important to dream as well?
Yes,
Because
it
if
is
you just
important
say,
to dream.
let's roll with the punches.
No. I don't mean be negligent of your life. Obviously, have a plan for your life, but don't put a time frame to it, because your time frame is not God's time frame. Do you understand?
Yes.
You say you want to do something in 1 or 2 years. When you don't get to that 1 or 2 years, there's a reason why you didn't get to those 1 or 2 years. And if you died, what have you done today that says that 5 years, this is the plan that you had for yourself? Yeah.
Okay. All right, what was his third question?
Yo, I forgot.
What drives you?
What drives me? I think the ambition to leave a legacy. I've always said that I want to be able to leave a legacy, and it's not a legacy of fame, it's not a legacy of popularity. It's to be able to say that I've touched, I've inspired, I've played my part, you know. I was here. Like Beyonce says, I was here. And that's it. Something to take pride in, you know, something my family can look to, you know, my future family. And even now, for my mom to just look at me and say, oh, my baby, though, you know.
You've done so
along
well.
with my sisters who are also following in those footsteps, which is so weird because now they've also entered the entertainment. So we're like the Kardashians now.
Oh, reality show in the pipeline?
I'm not into reality shows, I'll be very honest. I think reality shows, my thing is this, right? There's certain things which are very personal to one's life, and I feel that certain experiences do not come out on television because media will always portray things in a specific way. For me, the lesson or anything that anybody learns comes into close proximity. Like you and I sitting here together. You know what I mean? For me, it's a lot more real than having a show on TV that displays certain snippets where everybody will interpret it in a different way.
If someone were to play you, so there was a movie on your life, who would play you?
Wow, that's a tough one. I'll be very honest. I don't think there's anybody that can play me. And I don't say it in a very arrogant sense. I just mean that in the context of there's certain souls which are brought on the planet who are just individuals as themselves. And sometimes to bring that out from another person, it takes maybe, I don't know, somebody to really learn me and understand my spirit and my energy to be that person. And I don't think there's that because there's a fresh energy. Each and every person is an individual at the end of the day. I don't think there's anybody that can ever hit a nail on the head, unless, of course, I have a twin out there that I don't know of. But nah.
So no one. No one.
And as I said, I don't say it with arrogance.
I understand you're not saying it with arrogance. Go on to your movie career.
Yes.
You have never starred in a movie before, but you're about to.
I've done a short film. I did a short film last year, actually, with Mama Tumunchu. Film director Mama Tumunchu, which was just a short film. I was playing a supporting role of Nombi, which was like my first experience in front of the camera, like as an actress. Not that to say drama is something that I've never really done. It's always been a part of my life, playing little roles, obviously, in school and stuff like that. But that was my first role. But then Akin Omotoso, he said to me, I think he recognized something within me, and we had a meeting. And he sat down, analyzed me. I think he did his research. And he was like, I'd love for you to come through to a workshop so that I can test you and actually see if you became capable enough to pull something off. And I did. I did the workshop, and the rest was history. He was like, I like you. You know, you have something about you. And from then, exploring that. We haven't officially started filming because dates have constantly, you know, with movies, there's always changes with schedules and stuff like that. But hopefully by the beginning of next year sometime, we'll be able to actually start filming. But it has a beautiful cast. It has the likes of your Stumo Mjali. It has your Thomas Gumede. It has, oh wow, it has some beautiful people.
Looking forward to seeing that. When we return, we find out if Ware has found Mr. Right. Welcome back to 3 Talk. Today, we're joined by model, actress and singer Refilwe Modiselle. If you would like to speak to her, give us a call on 086 2233303, or you can tweet me, Noeleen 3 Talk. Now we're going to talk about something she hates talking about, and that is her love life. But I told her very, very, very calmly that there's no way you're going to give me the no comment thing.
She's threatened me.
Threatened you? I just said I'm going to take your shoes away from you. Or your dress. That dress will fit me. So, let's start there. Why so reluctant? In fact, no, I can understand why you're reluctant about talking about your love life.
You know, I'm reluctant because I'll be very honest. I don't feel, especially in the public lane, I sometimes feel that it's better when you're able to present your husband to the rest of the world in comparison to a boyfriend. Boyfriends come and go. That is just my reality, that boyfriends do come and go. And for me, I would like to honor the man who makes me his wife, basically, because it means that you've made me an honest woman, like in the term inverted commas, an honest woman. I feel that is the person that has said, you know what, I take you with everything that you are, your flaws and all, and I want to walk this journey with you. So I respect that more than having to say, oh, I'm dating this one, I'm dating this. Yeah.
And we know that the dating lane at the moment is just so up and down.
You know, it's
Is it
tough.
hard? Is it tough?
It's tough because you don't know people's intentions. Besides that, I'm a very strong person and a character. And for me, I'd like to be able to have somebody that is able to match up to that. And it's so funny because I said in a previous interview that you have somebody who gets you, but is not able to maintain you as a person. And not maintain, I don't mean luxury. No. I mean maintain the fact that they have you now. You know, are you able to stand in that ground and be able to walk that path as my partner? It's very nice to get somebody, but then afterwards, you know, are you able to maintain a relationship?
What does he do?
That's my thing about it. That's my thing about it. So I'll be very honest, I'm picky. I'm very picky, and not picky in a bad way.
What's your
I
kind
just
of
know
guy?
what I want. Look, somebody who knows exactly where they are going, and somebody who is stable, a God man. I call him a God universal man, and that is somebody who is charismatic, who understands and knows God, because a person who is like that knows how to love. When you're in that space, you know how to love and you know how to carry yourself, you know, as a person. And very strong person, handsome. I'd love a handsome man, but I mean, looks are not always the everything. You must have a killer personality, you know, and more than anything, have drive, have a sense of, that's another thing.
So I presume that the last guy that you dumped did not have any of those.
Oh, damn. The last guy I dated, oh man. Let's leave that chapter there.
You will not do that and give me that little giggle and then let's leave that chapter there. You're so going to tell me.
Look,
was he just
the last guy I dated, I had a serious thing with. Unfortunately, I mean, things didn't work out. And such as like different spaces and places as people. And as I said, I'm a lot more mature for my age. So maturity counts a lot.
It takes a strong guy to be able to stand.
No, you must be very strong. You must be very strong.
We've got someone, Chop Suey actually wants to know, does Refilwe have a boyfriend and is he albino? If not, how do they deal with the albinism dynamics? Is it really love or pity?
Why do I need to date an albino guy? Is it because first of all, I'd like to ask him, because it's like saying, are you dating a black girl? You know, I don't think it's relevant for a person to ask that question. You know, a person is a person at the end of the day. Blue, purple, orange, a person is a person to me. And as long as you have the characteristics that it takes to date me, that is just it, you know. And what else did you ask?
He wants to know, if not, how do they deal with the albinism dynamics? But I think you've answered that. And possibly if it was a guy who's living with albinism, is it really love or pity?
It's never pity, because my personality, I think, compensates for the outside. I'll be very honest. When you come across me, you come a person first before you do my skin. So often what people fall in love with is, you know, she's so free. And then they remember again, they're like, oh, wait. You know, and it's just that. It's never pity. Why should it be pity? I'm a person who takes care of myself. I'm together. And that's what counts. I'm a woman. That matters.
Before I go to Jamila in Springs, Small, 007 Small, beautiful. Is she single? Hook me up, please.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm not
bring
writing.
Your CV and your bank account to my mama.
And, oh, bank account.
Bank statement.
Oh, okay, let's go to Jamila. We're going to talk about the bank statement thing. Jamila Springs, hi.
Hi, Noeleen, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Jamila. What's your question to Vanilla Black?
Noeleen, I'm not calling with a question. I'm a mother of a child who's 9 years old. She has albinism like Refilwe.
Yeah.
Yes, so she would like to speak to Refilwe. I think if she speaks to Refilwe, because she's also got albinism, maybe Refilwe can also encourage her, you know. We've got Refilwe's pictures in a book that I keep for her, you know. I cut out all the pictures of people with albinism, and I always show her, I say, Hafsa, you're not the only child with albinism in this world. You must love yourself.
Absolutely,
So now we're watching
Jamila.
Free Talk, and I said, please, I pray to God. I said, please, I need to get through. My daughter needs to speak to Refilwe. She can encourage her, you know.
Is your daughter there with you now?
Yes, Stacy, please can Refilwe just speak to her, please. I'm going to give her the phone now.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
What's your name, my angel?
My name is Hafsa.
Hello, baby. How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you fine?
Yes, and I'm happy also.
Nana, I want to tell you something. You're beautiful, okay?
Okay, thank
Don't let
you.
anybody tell you anything less. You are beautiful, you are special, you are kind, and always remember that. Don't let anybody tell you anything less, okay?
Okay.
All right, my darling. Thank you very much for calling.
Okay.
Oh,
I wanted to say thank you for making me feel good about myself.
Oh. Were there times where you didn't feel good about yourself, Baba?
Excuse me, can you say it again?
I was saying that are there times where you didn't feel too good about yourself because other children were maybe teasing you?
Yes.
Oh.
Nana, if anybody teases you, you tell them that, I'm special, okay?
Yeah.
If anybody tries to tease you, you tell them that I'm special and my mommy loves me.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Remember that,
Bye.
okay, boo-boo?
Okay, my baby. Bye-bye. Oh, that brought tears to your eyes, didn't it?
I'm softy at heart, as hardcore as a lot of people might think I am. I'm very soft. Yeah.
How does it feel for a little girl, 9 years old, her mom saying that, you know, she looks up to you, and she's saying, I'm 9 years old, and I thank you for making me feel good about it.
You know what? It's so humbling. I keep saying to my mom, there are times when I walk around in the house or we have discussions, and I say to her, Mom, I don't understand. Not that I don't understand, but it's so mind-boggling where you get to a point where you're like, you're touching people's lives. It means that you're doing right. For me, a child is the beginning of a foundation. When you break a child, you break a human being. And kids just mean so much to me as a person because I have younger sisters. I don't want anything. I'm fully luto, you know? It's one of those. And to hear that from a child, the child is so innocent. I always say that, unfortunately, as people, the most innocent that you find is the child until you go into the world and you know everything that happened. You learn the sins of the world. But a child is so innocent, you don't want to taint that. And that's what I appreciate as Refilwe.
More with Refilwe Modiselle after the break. Welcome back to 3 Talk. I've got a tweet here from Papico. He says, I don't know if it's a he or she, but it's Papico. Refilwe, I think that you absolutely rock. Love you, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Papico. Okay, this is an interesting one. Paul Lebona says, Refilwe is a wonderful singer, poet who used to cause a stir at Gandhi Square with the singing back in high school days.
My secrets
My
are coming out.
producer told me that you are, one of the things you want to do is you want to sing.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
Look, I mean, back and forth in an industry that is very fickle, that promises, empty promises and so on. I was a backing vocalist from 18, actually. I started with KB and I went on. Yes, I was KB's backing vocalist for about 1.5 years or so. And that's when she had the baby and things changed and I went on into corporate world. But even when I was in corporate world, I started singing with Zubs. And Zubs, the last letter, golden mic holder. I sang alongside, we had a good run for about 2 years or so. I do corporate jingles, so I've done some work for SABC, I've done the Lot Day is One Day. So I sing, I'm a corporate, I'm a corporate singer as well.
A lot of people know about this?
No, they don't.
They don't.
They don't. Only those that recognize me in terms of singing live.
Yeah.
When I used to perform with Zabs, they're like, wait a minute, we used to remember you back in the day. So
you're a big Jill Scott fan, aren't you?
You're here, I'm pleased. I really dig your company, your style, your peace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see.
Oh, fantastic. Nicki Minaj?
Yes. You know what I love about Nicki? She's just feisty. That's what I love about Nicki. She's very feisty.
Okay, what song from Nicki Minaj would you sing?
Moment for Life.
Yeah.
I wish that I could have this moment for life.
Moment for life. I'll be your backing vocalist.
Yes.
No,
please,
bad idea.
please.
I cannot sing. Erykah Badu.
Oh my gosh. Erykah Badu, I love her holisticness. And a song I love is Yayo. Yayo, yayo. It's kind of like a chant.
Yeah.
So it's very...
Did Erykah Badu sing Brown Skin?
No,
that was
India Ari. Yeah.
Do you know how to sing? Do you know that song?
Brown skin up against my brown skin. Need it every now and then. Need it every now and then. Hey, 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 hey.
Brown skin. You know I need your... Okay, let me stop singing because people are going to tune out. Lynette Moyo, just out of interest, is Refilwe in a relationship and any plans of having of her own? People really want to know about your love life. Answer quickly and then they'll pretend that they didn't hear you.
I'll just say
it.
when I have a husband, everybody will know it.
Uyagyola Refilwe, so she's fun, she just doesn't want to tell you. And Domgai said once went to varsity with Vanilla Black and she's still a feisty and humble Chiquita.
She used to fight for me.
Chiquita.
She used to fight for me
Oh,
in
is that
varsity.
so?
Yeah, but when everybody had something like to say or make a comment, she'd be like, watch your back. Like, you just shush, you know, and this was in college.
Oh, that is fantastic. And Refilwe is actually a role model, not for only other Vanilla Bones, but for other different people.
Yes.
Who is her role model?
Wow. You know what? I don't have a role model. The people who I draw inspiration from. And that's purely because a role model is somebody that you want to aspire to be one day. And I don't believe in that. I believe even those people who you say are role models have flaws, have their own journey that they've traveled. And sometimes in life, you need to be able to find your own journey, but yet draw strength from different people to be the person that you'll become. And you might not necessarily be a Noeleen, you know what I mean? You need to be a Refilwe, you know, because that's your purpose in life. Yeah.
I think we need to watch this space. You are just reaching for the stars.
Thank you, Mama. I have a conference even coming up, a women's
fantastic,
conference.
fantastic. Thank you. He's an ordinary man who has lived an extraordinary life. He began involvement in the struggle against apartheid as a youth leader and was convicted in the famed Rivonia trial, serving 26 years as a political prisoner with former President Nelson Mandela. Tomorrow on 3 Talk at 16:35, our distinguished guest is anti-apartheid activist Ahmed Kathrada. We spent the afternoon with him getting to know more about his life and extraordinary journey of fighting for the country's freedom. From all of us at 3 Talk, have a fabulous evening.